Welcome back. This is the we're gonna try that one more time. Welcome back. My name is emmizziee, and this is the Uneducated Thought Show, the show of hot tops, hot takes, and whatever make these clear people mad at me and kick me off of their platforms. We got a good show tonight. I'm sipping on, I think it's bourbon. These little things that we got from Meyer. I like these little pre-made cocktails. I got a Manhattan. Nick got a mojito. But I put a little bit of that little fruity stuff I had last episode up in here too, and it's kind of slapping a little bit. It's okay. You don't really taste I don't know if it's bourbon or whiskey, but you don't really taste it that much for real. It's pretty straight. It's not in no glass today. It's in a red cup because I'm flu flamming. I'm fresh about the slammer. But yeah, so we're back for another one. I want to thank everybody that watched the last episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I thought it was a little bit poopy, honestly, but everything I do, I think, is poopy. So, too bad. I'm a little glistening right now because I don't know if it's sweat or the oil that I put on my face before I came down here. I like to lather up a lot. It might just be sweat. I want to see how I look in the camera, though. That's definitely oil. Okay, for sure. Because I am a little bit warm, but it is what it is. Anywho, today we're talking about the Wendy documentary, Trump's AI pictures, and we also talking about Alabama's IVF law. All three are pretty ghetto. All three are pretty steep. But we're going to get into it. Let's get into these topics. So I saw the Wendy documentary this past week. For those of y'all who don't know, Wendy Williams came out with this documentary. I don't think Wendy Williams came out with it. Some group contacted her, I think. And anyway, whatever. There's a documentary out on Lifetime where they follow around Wendy Williams and her journey to try to get back into her show. Meanwhile, she's falling apart in front of the camera. They got her propped up with a goddamn stick. And the lady can't even remember what she's saying to people and how she's saying it. Meanwhile, they steady trying to get this lady back on TV. Few things. I don't know if y'all saw my post on Instagram, but if you didn't see it, I'll say it here. The girl that they had walking around with her. First of all, you can't trust the bitch makeup. Let alone her hair. It's probably a wig. This bitch walking around looking like Krusty the goddamn crab. Krusty the goddamn clown. All this goddamn clown makeup on. The foundation don't match her goddamn neck. It's despicable. But she's very much so being like a yes person to everything that Wendy asked for. I don't like her as much as I liked the guy prior to. Now, when I first saw him, it's this little clip that he had where he was like, he came in and he was like, yeah, I gotta make sure I look like money. I gotta make sure I look like, you know what I'm saying? And when I saw that, I was just like, I ain't really fuck with that too much. But as the documentary went on, I started to slowly see that, well, one, he probably said he wanted to look like money because he's a jeweler. He makes the jewelry that he has on. So he kind of want to look good with the products that he makes on his body. That's, I kind of understood that later. But also, as the documentary went on, I understood that he was, as much as her family cared about what was going on with her, he seemed to be the only one that really wanted to make sure she was cool and that she got the help that she needed and all types of making sure she was following what her doctor was telling her to do. I don't remember what it is that she has. I know one of the things she has is like a foot thing. It kind of gives like elephantitis, I think. I don't know if that's the exact, don't quote me on that. But she can't really walk because her foot is the size of a goddamn watermelon. And every time she steps down, I was about to say something nasty. But yeah, no, the dude was trying to make sure that she drank her water and read a book. Fucking, what else? To make sure she eat her broccoli steamed, whatever the fuck. make sure she not selling stuff and that she not buying stuff and that she not doing, because I guess what had happened was Wells Fargo put her in like a conservative ship where basically she couldn't access her money until she could prove that she was sane, because the bitch is losing her goddamn mind. She's not losing, it's gone. It's out of there. She's missing completely. It was times throughout that goddamn documentary she'd be talking to somebody and you could just see all in her face through both of them big ass eyeballs that she was not coherent in what it is that she was saying, and she would snap on people very easily. Which, let's park over there real second. Let's park over there for a second, I should say. Um, as much as I feel bad about what's going on, Wendy, and that this disease has riddled her, and that she's going through a lot with that, and she can't access her money and all that stuff. Part of me can't really fully absolutely feel all the way bad just because of how mean of a human she was when she was sane, right? She Her whole career was based around like talking down about people and like being mean and like snarky, whatever. I don't think that's the right word for it, but that was her whole thing, was just gossip, celebrity gossip, talking about people and what they doing, what they not doing, what they look like, what they don't look like, this, that, and the third. And so, really, in my mind, I'm thinking that all of this stuff is just karma. I mean, if you being horrible to people for eons, that's bound to come back to you at some point. At least I believe. So that's just a little side note. But they had her in this conservatorship because she had to show that she was sane enough to have her money and shit like that. And so the guy that I'm talking about, I forget his name again. So if you haven't seen the documentary, go see it. You'll be able to put the pieces together that I'm not able to put in right now because I didn't put them in these notes. Literally all it says right here is just Wendy documentary. That's all I got for you. So I'm just shooting from the hip right now, my nigga. You're gonna have to just deal with it. But yeah, so it seems like the dude was, like I said, trying to make sure she had her shit together and was cool. But then somehow, some way, this little clown girl came in, and all of a sudden, so Wendy's not supposed to be drinking, right? In the documentary, she's not supposed to be drinking. She's not supposed to be hanging out. She's not supposed to be buying this, that, and the third. Woo, woo, woo. This girl, the clown girl, is letting Wendy get all the drinks that she want wherever they go somewhere. She letting her look crazy all the time. She talking about they're trying to get her back into a show, and so the girl flew Wendy outside of New York. The girl just didn't tell nobody. Took Wendy, flew her to LA to go talk to some whatever the network was that her show was on. I don't remember. They was talking to her to see if she can get her show back or to get a new show. The motherfuckers was looking at her, and they like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll discuss this later. Don't worry about it. We'll get back to you. This sounds incredible. Knowing good and goddamn well when she went into that office, she probably couldn't string together two goddamn sentences that made a lick of fucking sense. I'm telling y'all, if y'all watch this documentary, it is insane and kind of scary to see like she has dementia. That's what it was. I meant to say that. She had dementia. She has dementia. The dementia is kicking this lady's ass, fucking her all the way up. The baby, it was one point where Black China had came in, and they was just Black China was telling her about how, like, because they had some sort of relationship. Wendy was talking about her in the end. They got cool at some point, whatever, blah blah blah. So Black China likes her. She treats her like a mother, whatever type shit like that. She's telling her. So Black China telling her she love her and that she's incredible and this, that, and the fucking third. This motherfucker Wendy looked her in her face and was like, "My name is Wendy." That was before she took her goddamn wig off and saw what is synonymous to a shredded rug on the top of her head. They should have took that whole scene and just kicked it the fuck out. Just how crazy she looked. This girl looked at Black China after Black China was telling her how much she loved her. They said blah blah blah, and went, "My name is Wendy. Wendy Hunter." Black China like, okay, cool. This bitch Wendy like, yeah, because black is beautiful, but, and then that's when I was like, because the butt killed me. She's talking about some, yeah, but I'm just gonna be Wendy Hunter now, to kind of be like, I'm gonna lean into my whiteness, and another thing I'm gonna say about that too is that whole thing didn't surprise me because the entirety of her career, Wendy always seemed like the light skinned girl that wanted to be the white skinned girl. You get what I'm saying? Like she always, and I'm not gonna sit here and say it's because like how she spoke or like the whole enunciating the full words and the blonde wig and all that shit like that. But part of that is it too. You feel what I'm saying? Like every time you see a light skinned girl with the blonde wigs that get to talking like she talk and the way that she talk and hanging out with the people that she hang out with, she in Hollywood and shit. Like, come on, man, bro. Ain't no way in hell she's trying to be for no niggas for real. It ain't no way. But that's just what I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know her history. I know that she used to be on the radio. She used to be hanging out with the niggas back then. But once you reach that, some niggas, once you reach that threshold of a certain dollar or a certain amount of fame and a certain type of people get around your ass, you kind of be forgetting where you come from. And so I think maybe that was a case of what the hell was happening with her. Plus, she was so very like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. But that's just what I think. Yeah, no. Anyway, just I feel like it's sad. But it is what it is, I guess. Um, next topic, I guess. All right. So if y'all haven't been hip to the news, there are a few pictures circulating around of Trump and a gang of niggas. Um, it's just pictures of him taking pictures with a bunch of black people in this big like group setting. Everybody's smiling and happy and all this shit like that. Turns out these pictures are AI. Any nigga with half of a brain that was looking at these pictures would have knew that was AI, but apparently it's been circulating around and motherfuckers have been believing it to be true, and so news sources picked it up, telling people, talking about the warnings of AI during political elections and why we need to ban AI and all this shit like that. Here's my thing. Number one, the pictures cracked me up because Trump looks uncomfortable in the pictures, and it's really just funny as hell that even in a falsified image, a fake image, the man still cannot look a tad bit happy or comfortable to be around a bunch of black people. It's funny and it's telling, honestly. But yeah, no. The thing about these pictures is that it's crazy when I found out about this because I'm starting to see in a bunch of like Black Thought like YouTube channels or like social accounts and shit like that. There's this belief that the Republican Party is slowly but surely trying to um get the black male vote or the black vote period. Like they're trying to like do little insidious things to try to get more people to be more black people, sorry, to be more conservative. And this on top of other things kind of just confirms that for me. Like I know that Joe Budden and Candace Owens took a picture together. I think they about to do a podcast. He probably gonna have her on the podcast, which a lot of people were saying like it's gonna be some bullshit because as intelligent as Joe Budden is, in my personal opinion, I think that the people that's on the show with him aren't that fully. They're not dumb, but like I don't think that they have the capacity. I don't think anybody on the show actually has the capacity to have a full blown debate or political debate with somebody of the caliber of a Candace Owens. Not because I think she's gonna say something that's like particularly intelligent or something that makes any lick of goddamn sense, because she's one of them conservatives that just spew shit out her face and think that because she says it with a wild vernacular and shit that it makes sense. And bitch, it don't. But I think that when you go against somebody like that who has, I think that she has the ability to pull up like fake figures, and she has the ability to like talk around certain things or like coerce people into certain conclusions that they wouldn't have gotten to otherwise had it not been for her input. And I think that when you have somebody like that on a sort of show like the Joe Budden podcast, that could be grounds for her to basically out talk these niggas, um, presume to outsmart these niggas, and in a way make herself look better than everybody on the show, which gives her a little bit more like push to the people who's watching the show. You dig what I'm saying? Like if it's a gang of fifth graders talking about a topic, and then an adult comes in talking. I don't even know if that's a good analogy, but it's probably not a good analogy. But just roll with me for a second. If it's like a bunch of kids talking about some shit, right? Talking about how to make the color green, right? And niggas are saying, well, you put the purple with the this, and then you make it, and then you put the this with that, and then you have an adult come in and show these niggas that when you put the blue and the yellow together, that it comes to green. Niggas is gonna think that that motherfucker is more credible. Does that analogy make any fucking sense to what I'm talking about? Absolutely not. But you get my point, don't you? You should. She gonna go in there and make them niggas look crazy, make herself look cool. And I think that's a part of the whole conspiracy about conservatives trying to take over the black vote. Um, my thing is, it's kind of two things actually. Number one, I think that if anybody is going to go the way of the conservative group, is going to be black men predominantly, which I think they understand, which is why they're going on like the Joe Budden podcast instead of insert black female uh podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, sorry, pro black female black podcast, because that's a whole other thing about you niggas, black media pertaining or catering to conservatism. But anyway, I think that black men are going to be most susceptible to that for real, because I think that a lot of black men historically have aligned with, and this is my second part, I think that black men historically have sided with conservatism initially as like a survival tactic, but now I think a lot of you niggas really believe the shit that you say, even if it's to the detriment of your community. You dig what I'm saying? And I hate to say this too, I think that black people are easily swayed when it comes into elections and shit like that. But I think that black men particularly are swayed because I think conservatives know how to pull on our like heartstrings. You dig what I'm saying? Like when them stimmy checks came out and Trump's name was on them, a lot of niggas was like, "Oh, thanks Trump. Trump looking out for the niggas. I knew he was one of us. Who I know he on our side. Blah blah. Who, you know, shit like that." Not knowing that the nigga particularly ordered for his name to be put on those fucking checks when they got sent out. His name. That's not a plan that he came up with. That plan was in place before he even got there. It was a whole plan for that is big. Ooh, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. I edited it out. But there was a whole plan before the pandemic happened on how to make sure that people have certain things and this, that, and the third. And one of the things were these checks. The nigga wanted to make sure that his name was on them checks because when they got sent out to people like you and me who live paycheck to paycheck, not up there with the six-figure girlies, not up there with the Instagram baddies and all that shit like that. He knew that when we got them checks, we was going to see them checks with his name on it, and then instantly niggas was going to be like, thank you, Trump. And they do shit like that all the time. Point is, I know that a lot of black men are going to be susceptible to this. I am empathetic to that, but at the same time, I'm of the caliber of nigga that if you are a black conservative, specifically a black Trumper, you could go with them niggas. I ain't got shit for your black ass. Take your motherfucking ass, take your monkey ass over there and coon and jig for them crackers if you want to. I ain't got shit for you if you do it. Because there has been multiple instances where it's been proven that these motherfuckers is racist, homophobic, transphobic, this, whatever the fuck else phobic, right? And these niggas are vehemently anti-black, right? Anytime a nigga do anything for black people, it's demonized. Why the fuck would you take your ass over there? Out of all places, why would you take your motherfucking ass over there? It's because you a coon ass nigga. So on February 16th last month, the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that embryos created through IVF are to be considered children, and that if any embryos were to be damaged or are failures during the IVF process, that those failed embryos will be considered wrongful death of a minor. So a lot of IVF clinics and shit like that wasn't giving people treatment. A lot of people stopped going to get their treatment because of this ruling, because it was crazy. As of 2 days ago, well, I don't know the timing of whenever this come out is what it is, but on March 8th, March 8th, lawmakers had proposed a new bill that was passed and put into law that women can get IVF treatment, and that the, I guess, like damages that go along with that, like if the embryo fails and shit like that, that nobody is to be charged for murder, which it shouldn't have been a motherfucking thing in the first place. But yeah, so now they're trying to work around ways to, still be legal within the new embryo law, but also make sure that women have access to IVF treatment, because when the law came into place from the Supreme Court, a lot of women came out there and was like, hey, what the fuck is you talking about? What you mean, bro? That don't work for me at all. If I ain't said it before, I'll say it now, that we here at the Uneducated Thought Show, and by we I mean just me, because I'm the only nigga on this show doing every goddamn thing. We are very pro-choice. I'm very much so of the caliber of nigga that believes that nobody can tell any woman what they can and can't do with their body when it comes to a baby, or anything else for that matter, honestly. And that if a lady was to get knocked up tomorrow, or a person with a vagina gets pregnant tomorrow, and they want to get rid of the baby on Monday, tis what it is. It's not my body. It's not my baby. I can't say shit about it. I can't even get pregnant. So why the fuck do I get a choice at all? But that's not how everybody thinks. So what do I think about all of this, right? Um, Obviously, like I just said, I think that it's crazy that it would be illegal to get IVF treatment, and that the state would put people in that sort of put women in clinics in that predicament, to where if an embryo was to fail, that they could face a murder charge. Um, Especially considering that, what does my statistics say? Between 30 to 50% of first time IVF treatments fail. Like half of the people that go in to get IVF treatment, the first embryo don't work, so they have to come back. A lot of women say that they have to come and get multiple treatments. Like, it doesn't happen the first time you go in there and do it for whatever reason. I don't know what the whole process is like, because I don't do IVF treatment and I don't have a vagina, so I can't give you shit there. But what I can give you is this, right? I'm not gonna sit here and be like, that's what y'all get, because a lot, well, the Supreme Court justices of the state of Alabama is an elected position, which means that the niggas that y'all put in place that ensure that y'all can't get IVF treatment are the niggas that y'all put there. And obviously it's not everybody, right? Like, everybody didn't vote for these motherfuckers, but the majority of y'all did, obviously, because who the fuck is up there? But yeah, I'm not gonna say this is what y'all get. What I will say is that, in the same way that I think liberals are under the assumption that Democrats can't be pro-capitalist, racist, um, anti insert positive thing here, like Republicans are. I think that a lot of conservatives believe that conservatives don't have the ability to vote against things that they believe will benefit them, or that aligns with their ideologies. A lot of the women that went out there to protest against his IVF ruling were conservative women, from what I see. Again, I could be wrong. I don't live in Alabama. Nigga, do your Googles. Fact check me at all points. Don't ever take what I say to be, nigga. Go look up yourself. But a lot of the women out there were conservative. So I can see why they would align with, like, these people. What does one of these justices say? The Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court has said, human life cannot be wrongfully destroyed without incurring the wrath of a holy God who views the destruction of his image as an affront to himself. This is true of unborn human life no less than it is of all other human life. The nigga said that as a response to this ruling, or as a reasoning for the ruling. This is another reason why I sit here and I tell people not to be so split when it comes to politics, and not to be one of those voters that just vote because a nigga says something that you think sounds smooth or that you like align with, which kind of sound crazy, but you know, I did a little bit of research on this nigga, the Chief Justice nigga, and there's a lot of shit that the nigga was a part of prior to becoming the Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court. He worked under a nigga that was a pedophile, and he's a avid supporter of, I think it's called the 7-day mandate, 7 something mandate, which is a right wing like theory or whatever the fuck. I don't even know what the fuck you would call it, where they want to put God in every bit and piece of politics, society, everything. They want God in the schools. They want God on the internet. They want God at your job. They want God in your food. They want God in every goddamn piece of that you, everything you get into. They want Jesus Christ there, which is crazy because we live in a country that has a separation of church and state, or at least we supposed to. And so for a nigga to be like that and be so adamant about this shit, and to have said that to get rid of a child, you need to face the wrath of God. If I'd even known half of that, I wouldn't have voted this nigga in if I lived in Alabama. And I feel like y'all shouldn't have either. But again, I don't live there, so maybe it ain't nothing for me to say. Yeah, I mean, all in all, it's kind of steep. Like I said, thank God they're starting to do a little bit. They're trying to change the little law a little bit so that women can get IVF treatment and shit like that. But, you know, as far as the Supreme Court still cares, embryos are still considered children. So there's going to be a lot of shit going on with that. Quick question. Are them niggas tax deductible? Is my question. If you gonna if this is a child, if this is considered a child, a person, right? That's what you said. Can I put this nigga on my taxes? Because if that's the case, run up them embryos, women. Get about 4, 5, 6 put up in there. Don't get about 4, 5, 6 put up in there, because if you might have 5 babies at one time and you're gonna blow up, because it's not, you're not supposed to have that many kids in you. But run it up. Run it up. Get that $5,000 an embryo, cake it up, and then move out the state to go somewhere where you can get IVF treatment without no hassle. Come to Michigan. We pretty free about everything. You could be gay, you could be trans, you could be an immigrant, you could be an alien for all we goddamn care, bitch. You could fly down here in your flying saucer, okay? Abduct about 4, 5, 10 niggas, and we still gonna give you a tax exemption. Probably even housing. Because we cut like that. We fuck with everybody. For now. So here at the Uneducated Thought Show, we have a section called What's on Your Heart. In this section, either you write into this spot here, or you DM me at this spot here, and you tell me what's on your heart, what you want to get off your chest, and what you feel like talking about. If I read your thing and it just looks like something I want to speak on, we gonna do that shit. But today, we have a write-in from a guest. They want to keep themselves anonymous, so I'm not gonna say their name. This listener says, "Hey MZ, that's real crazy that you spelled my name wrong when you DM me. Nigga, you saw the correct spelling of the shit, and hey, MZ, I listened to what you said about jobs overworking people and wanted your advice on an issue I'm having at work. So for context, I don't love my job, but they pay pretty well, and it can be pretty easy most days. It's real chill for the most part, but it can be physically demanding sometimes." Okay, cool. My job is like that. I feel you. "Also, I'm a pretty good worker. I come in early and stay late when asked, and pretty much do what everyone asks me without question. My issue is that I feel like I'm the only one doing it. That, and whenever there's a hard job that needs to be done, it almost always ends up assigned to me while my other coworkers get the easy stuff. On top of that, every time nigga, why did you send this whole book? On top of that, Every time I make a little mistake, I end up getting lectured about how I need to do better. But whenever my other coworkers skip stuff or is just lazy, it feels like nothing is done about it because they make the same mistakes again with no consequences. I want to talk to my manager about all this, but I don't want any issues. What should I do? Well, thank you for your write in. I should skip your ass because you spelled my name wrong, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer this because I do have something that I want to say about this because I kind of go through the same thing at my place of work, and so I kind of can relate to you on that. I'm gonna give you two answers, right? Dose and Serenos. One's gonna be professional, one's gonna be some real nigga shit. Both of them I'm gonna try to just base in reality for you. Professionally, I think that you should talk to your managers about this, or your manager, or whoever the fuck is above you. Number one, go to them about it. Tell them like, yo, I feel like I'm being overworked. Like, I feel like I'm just kind of tired, and it seems like I'm the only one doing stuff. Blah blah blah. I will caution you though with that. Like, you kind of do that on your own. Like, you kind of gauge that because what I understand about jobs after working a lot of jobs. Well, number one, let me say this, right? When you work labor jobs, I've worked labor jobs my whole life. When you work labor jobs, there is, and you have coworkers. When you work labor jobs and you have a coworkers, I'm so sorry I had to restart that 15 times. When you have a labor intensive job and you have coworkers, you are bound to run into a situation where it's gonna be some lazy niggas. That just is what it is. That come with any job. Office jobs, out working outside, all that shit. You always gonna have a nigga that don't want to do his motherfucking part. That just is what it is. Um, but also because of that, specifically with labor jobs, I find that if you are the type of nigga that is doing what it is that you're doing, because you sound like a pretty good worker, you coming in early and shit like that. If you are that caliber of worker, I think that managers will be more willing and open to hear what your complaints and what you like doing, like trying to work around that and making sure you good, because the majority of niggas that work in labor jobs are lazy and don't want to be there. They don't. When you see these niggas working on these roofs or these Amazon workers, niggas at motherfucking McDonald's, them niggas hate their jobs because nobody wants to do physical labor. That's why the majority of niggas trying to go to college to get an office job and work from home, because nobody wants to be outside working. Nobody wants to use their body to make money. Flat out. Um, and so with that, talking to them, they might be more willing to listen to you because you are an anomaly within that sort of thing. I don't know what your industry is, no shit like that. I could be wrong. That's why I'm saying you gauge that. And I'm also saying gauge that because I don't know what your managers is like. Like, if I was to go to my manager about the situation, I already know that nigga not gonna listen to me because other niggas have done it and he didn't do shit about it. So if you had that sort of rapport with your manager where you could talk to them about anything, y'all cool, and you think that they'll be willing to listen to you and hear your complaints, and y'all could try to figure out a way to make sure that you're not overworked or tired or nothing like that, then by all means, I would say go talk to your people and just see if you can figure something out. And that's all the professional end. Real nigga shit, get the fuck on. Leave. Nigga bounce. Go on Indeed right now and find you somewhere to fucking go. Because I say that because although I said them niggas might be cool and might, depending on what it is, most niggas not gonna give a fuck. Furthermore, the second you start to complain about the amount of work that you get in this country, I don't know how other countries work. I don't know how other jobs, I don't, whatever the fuck. What I know is what I know. In this country, at least, when you get to complaining about how much work you getting and how much you got to do, that's when them niggas in their mind gonna go, oh, you don't want to be here. You don't want to work. You lazy like the rest of these niggas. So they gonna do whatever the fuck they can to make sure that you quit. They gonna give you more work. They gonna work you even harder. They gonna do more shit to you to make you get so exhausted that you get the fuck on so that they don't have to fire you and pay what the fuck I'm trying to say. Damn, it just left me that fast. They don't want to fire you. They want you to quit so that they don't have to pay unemployment benefits. They don't have to give you a reason, which I found out, side note, off of a TikTok. that if you get fired from your position at any job, there in some states it's not all, so check your states, whatever the fuck like that, blah, blah, blah. But in most states, if you get fired from a job, they're supposed to give you a reason. And you can request that reason to be written to you. And if they cannot present a reason to fire you that is within the confines of the law, right? Niggas can't fire you because you just wore something stupid. They have to have a real reason for it. So if they can't give you no express written shit after you requested it, or express written reason why they fired you, you could probably sue your job for letting you go. But again, research. Nigga, do you listen? But back to the original topic, the ADHD is whooping my ass. Yeah, the more you complain about a job, the less motherfuckers will give a fuck about it. They're not gonna hear you. They don't care about none of that shit. And furthermore, I say to leave because of how I am, right? Like, I'm the caliber of nigga that was raised by a woman who would look dead in a manager face and go, just like you hired me, or no, what she say? She would say, when I got this job, I was looking for one. So just like you'd hire me, I can get somewhere. I can go somewhere the fuck else. She would say that dead to niggas, to her managers, straight in a fucking face. Now it's 2024 now. This was back in the early 2000s, in the 90s and shit like that. So maybe it's not. I'm not necessarily saying be on that gangster shit like she was, but I'll be on that gangster shit about how to get what the fuck I get the fuck on quick. Niggas know me, know I get the fuck on fast. A job can't annoy me more than nigga a handful of times before I'm like, all right, I'm about this bitch for real. I am fickle about a job. I don't have no company loyalty. Never have, never will. Because just as fast as them niggas hired you, them niggas will fire you. You got to put it 2 weeks in before you leave, but they can fire you on the spot. What I say last episode? These niggas making 2, 3, 4, 5, $18 billion and they paying you 30 grand a month, 40 grand a goddamn year. Meanwhile, the eggs going up. Box of cereal $10, nigga. Eggs $6 a carton. You can't even get no motherfucking grapes around this bitch without busting out at least 10 ball. You feel me? So I don't know, man. I think that you should probably just go ahead and just go on about your business. But that's just me. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. If you are not subscribed yet, what the fuck is your problem? Hit that subscribe button if you have fun. Hit the like button if you had fun. Hit the dislike button if your mama's a hoe. And we will be back next time. Thank y'all for listening. Bye, Nick.